don't want to dig yourself into too deep a hole in conference play, particularly at an SEC that is loaded once again this season. Georgia wins the opening tip. The Bulldogs in white, the Commodores in black. Up top, it's Turtle Jackson. Inside, Claxton finds a cutting Obede for the slam.
Nice movement, big to big, but we talk about the different skill sets of a Nick Claxton on display in the first possession.
See the starting five for the Commodores. First start for Aaron Neesmith, talented freshman out of Charleston, South Carolina. Into this Vanderbilt recruiting class, not just Garland, in fact, the highest rated recruiting class in the history of Vanderbilt basketball. Wetzel, running hook shot, hangs on the rim, does not drop. Claxton clears it up for Georgia. Ahead to Hightower. Hammonds put up a goose egg in the opening conference loss at Tennessee. You will not see Rayshawn Hammonds be shut out very often.
Both teams have opened up man-to-man. I'm pretty sure Vanderbilt's going to settle into a zone at some point in time.
Shake and bake move by Hightower, but a little too much mustard on the shot. All the way, it's Lee down low, and a jump
to score that involved all 5 players, something that they did not plan on when they had Darius Garland.
Saban Lee, a great freshman year, asked to take over the point guard duties and does what he does best. He is one of the better penetrators you will find in the Southeastern Conference.
Has such a quick step, has struggled shooting the 3-ball. Not sure why you would bite on any ball fake that he might give you at the arc right now. And here's Claxton in a different role already.
Immediately draws a double. Here's Hammonds on a 3. Good look for Rayshawn Hammonds. Lee, drive and kick, and the shot on the way, no. Offensive rebound for Neesmith. And then a turnover. Hightower on the steal. Hightower finds Claxton left alone on a 3. Rims off. Shatu boards it for the Commodores. Here's another guy who's 6'11". He can handle, he can drive, and he can teardrop it through.
He's at his best in the open floor.
On the other end, the hoop and the harm. T-Shot Hightower. Any guard, for that matter, for Georgia makes some plays. Tom Crean adamant about the fact that he is waiting for one of these guards to step up their play. And in the process, they'll earn more minutes. Right now, he's just spreading them around because he's waiting for somebody to heat up.
Remember, he told us today he didn't feel like his team ever got in the flow at Tennessee the other day. Now, I must confess, a lot of teams are not going to get in the flow playing against Tennessee, but didn't feel like they played fast enough.
Right. Inside, shot blocked by, I believe, Turtle Jackson, maybe Claxton. Georgia 9th in the country in block shots this year. 7 on the shot clock. They dump it inside, and it was lost by Matthew Moore. This is a Vanderbilt team that lost its top 3 scorers from a year ago. Lost a lot of production, and they're going to rely heavily on some newcomers and sophomores. So many hopes were banked on that young man who many projected to be a lottery pick.
And still is, I think.
Yes.
Poor inbounds pass on the out under.
This is Ryan. Ryan, the transfer from Notre Dame. Lee. Boy, is he quick. Inside, dump down pass, and the layup rims off.
And Brown wasn't ready to be a receiver. He got room service from Lee. You've got to make that.
Georgia in the loss to Tennessee was 1 for 20 from behind the arc. They're off to a sluggish start from 3 so far tonight. Strong take, and off the mark was Matthew Moyer.
Both of these teams need to slow down a little bit. Execute like that, big to big.
Obede took
it, don't they? Have a knack for finding each other.
Georgia with a lot of size, one of the bigger teams in the SEC. Neesmith on a 3. Vanderbilt a little bit cold from downtown. 3 from Hammonds. And that went down. He got hit across the face by Brown.
Long rebounds on long shots usually mean the guards have to get involved in rebounding.
Georgia.
Vanderbilt a little flat-footed there.
Georgia 0 for 4 from three-point land.
What does that mean? They're 1 for 24 now, their last
That's
two, right?
And that's another air ball. Obeyde, though, cleans up the mess.
Talk about Shatu. You're talking about another highly recruited recruit that Bryce Drew was able to get to Nashville.
You and I have seen a lot of Vanderbilt teams over the years. I've seen a lot of 6'10 guys for Vandy that can shoot threes. Shatu is the most unique 6'10 guy they've ever had in their program history. Here he is again. Look at that move. Oh, pretty move right on cue.
That's a great matchup, wasn't it? Shatu against Claxton.
Two of the most versatile big men in the league, and we're talking about one true freshman and one sophomore. Here is the sophomore Claxton. He'll go to work. Claxton hangs.
Because of that, he had enough room and space to spin and create his own little half hook.
Foul was on Neesmith. Claxton at the line for a pair. It's a young man who, it wasn't looking like he was going to have the size of his old man. And then he had, some of us have growth spurts, and then there's going from 6'2 to 6'11 in the last couple of years in high school.
That is a spurt, isn't it?
And looking on, Charles Claxton, an all-SEC center back in the early to mid-90s. Neesmith, the freshman, dribbled off his leg. Claxton on a steal. Claxton gliding, and second effort, he'll kick it out to Jackson. Swing past Sargunas on a three. Got it! And there's Stingley forever.
Again, it all starts with Claxton, though, making the right decision. Sargunas, I know you had that Tennessee game. Sargunas had 4 points in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of bright spots in that game.
Moyer, back iron unkind. Fouled by Shatu. No, tapped up around. Claxton, top floor for the rebound.
That was where Shatu should have ball faked again. How about 2 in a row?
Behind the back pass, Shatu, blind look inside of the bucket for Moyer.
Well, Tom Crean wanted a charge. There was some contact.
Obeyde likes to probe that baseline, but that time can't connect.
Left-hander trying to finish on the right side. Well, here's another turnover.
Sargunas on a steal, and got a little too excited, tripped over his own feet. Neesmith on a three from the corner, drains it. A freshman with his first points of the night. It's a 3-point game.
There's some sloppy turnovers by both teams.
Georgia comes into this game dead last in turnovers. It's been an issue handling the basketball. Minus 4.5 in turnover margin. That is by far and away the worst mark.
And that's a byproduct of not having a true point guard.
Obeyde trying to get a whistle. He got one.
The right decision in traffic.
Obeyde goes to the bench with his first foul. He got in foul trouble in that Tennessee game, something that Tom Crean was talking to us about today at shoot-around. They cannot have that happen again. They need his body available. Shatu, perhaps a Euro step, whatever it was, it worked, and then
the sophomore transfer, Moyer, with the and-one opportunity.
Moyer, the concert violinist, makes air. He's got 5. There you see, look at that.
That's very nice. Paying homage to Joe Dean, maybe?
You like that, yeah. Had a chance to work with Joe Dean Jr. a few years. Harris spinning, lost it. Another turnover on Georgia. Full throttle Lee. Lee all the way. Rejected out of bounds. 4 each way. Inbounds to Lee. The son of the former Florida State NFL running back, Amp Lee. Lee takes it strong and gets spurt ability, despite the fact that for a while there they were kind of in the doldrums when they lost Darius Garland. It was a crippling injury not only for him and not just his 16 points a game, but the way it changed the roles for everybody on this team. You're not getting the same looks that you did when he was running the point guard spot.
Had to change completely what they had planned to do for 2 years after he had committed.
Hammonds, another turnover.
And we're going to start eliminating these spin moves.
Yes. Chateau, meanwhile, that'll count.
Don't expect a guy that size at 6'10" to do the things he can do in transition with the basketball. And that's Chateau.
Chateau right now, bellied up with Ngumeze, the Nigerian freshman for Georgia, number 25 in white. Meanwhile, it's Claxton up top to Willridge.
Now this is Claxton as the point guard.
And immediately draws a double. Claxton in trouble. And a reach-in foul.
Drew took when the score was 9-4. I mean, every coach wants to think that their team's going to respond after a timeout. Well, the Commodores have done that.
Willridge driving, firing, and will go to the line for a pair.
Get to the free throw line a little bit.
Willridge, who suffered a blow to the head in the Clemson game. He actually missed 3 games, 7 out of the last 8. Kentucky fresh off a win last night against Texas A&M, although give the Aggies credit down to the final couple of minutes before Kentucky pulled away.
Kentucky has moved Hagans to the point, full time now. Has kind of shortened the rotation, which you kind of knew was coming.
Right. Tough shot off balance with the left is Maxwell Evans. You mentioned Hagans. He was scheduled to come here to Athens and play point for the Bulldogs. They certainly wouldn't mind having that kind of weapon. Obede showing his weaponry in the paint.
Every time Obede gets a rebound, I think angry. He just looks angry, doesn't he?
He's a super nice young man who's very likable when you get a chance to chat with him, but he does play a little fiery. Shot clock under 10 for the Commodores. Lee whips it down low, baseline shot off the glass. No, Claxton gobbles up another rebound. Willridge gets it to go. A runner in the lane. He's got 4, and it's back to a 1-point game.
Here's this matchup I'm so excited about.
Lee, Saban Lee, not known for his three-point shooting. He came in at 17%, knocks it down.
Had made just 4 on the year. 4 for 23, now make it 5 for 24.
If he can ever improve that part of his game. Claxton. This arena.
So why do guys who are good free throw shooters, and Claxton is solid at 70%, why do they go to the line and miss technical foul shots?
It's something about the mental aspect where there's nobody.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You are exactly.
At all levels.
They get there by themselves and they just feel like they're on an island. All of a sudden they tighten up.
Feel like you're too early for the party, like nobody's there.
What a great catch by Claxton. That inbounds pass was at his ankles.
Look at that. Claxton. 6 points for the sophomore. This is Lee. Move, shake and bake.
He's got a great hesitation move off the bounce.
Put Turtle Jackson on skates there. Strong take. Shot missed wildly by Neesmith. Here comes Hightower. Up top, Willridge rifles it to Obede, and he's fouled on the floor.
Down the floor, and I'm going, dude, a little higher. I'm 6'11".
Exactly, with long arms. 8th team foul on Vanderbilt, 1-1 for Obede. Obede is passport, born in Lagos, Nigeria.
You know, it reminds me of growing up in Lexington. I went to Versailles, and Harrison White has gotten in the middle of the ring now.
Yeah.
Both teams have kind of taken turns landing blows, putting the other on the ropes.
And trying to tightrope.
I have a feeling both coaches are going to be talking about that at the locker room.
Well, you mentioned Tom Crean said he really wanted his team to play faster, to work faster. Sometimes when you do pick up the speed, you get a little bit out of control.
Yeah, it's a good point. without a point guard, it becomes even more challenging.
Nifty move by Lee. Everything but the bucket. Shatu is there, and he'll go. The rebounding teams, margin of plus 5.2. They've got some size as well.
Really starts at where Vanderbilt is on his jersey. Watch the way his shooting motion starts really low. See, I'd like to see him get the ball up higher as a free throw shooter.
It was such a bad miss that it created an awkward bounce, but Vanderbilt cannot take advantage. Hightower. And that's what Georgia did. It come from overseas. The game is relatively new. Soccer is the primary sport for so many, and the quality college basketball player here in Athens.
Georgia's been pretty good at the line, 72% as a team, but they're coming off that Tennessee game where they struggled.
1 for 2 for Hightower. That last foul, by the way, was the third on Matt Ryan.
That's big news because that's a 39% shooter from beyond the arc who's done for the rest of the half.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see him until after intermission. Shatu on Claxton. Great matchup here.
Isolation.
Oh, he lost it on the crossover. And then hanging and firing off the Neesmith.
Mike, he didn't lose that. He wants an assist on that.
You're going to give him a dime on that? You're more generous than me. 2-point lead for the Commodores. Hightower to Jackson inside Claxton. Claxton, the lefty, wheeling, dealing. That's with the right hand, but he missed it. Tapped around and hauled in by Wetzel.
Good find.
Toy too strong.
Love the quick corner three in transition. Hard to defend.
Hightower, circus shot.
In that event in Knoxville where he went 1 for 6, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc.
On a blow by, it's Evans. Knocked out of that.
That's a big game for Florida tonight because they have Tennessee coming to Gainesville on Saturday. So they could be looking at 0-2, 0-3 right in the face with two of their first 3 at home.
And the psychological effect of the way they lost that game against South Carolina, basically the equivalent of a Hail Mary pass at the end of the game. Shot clock down to 5 for Hammonds. Hammonds says, okay, I'll jack it up. He has really struggled the last couple of games. Strong take and drawing the foul. 35
to 40%, not 1 out of every 3.
Young man whose brother goes to Harvard. So no lack of education for the Neesmith brothers.
Guys along with Garland,
right,
that made up that great recruiting class.
Yeah.
These guys are thrust into roles now, more minutes than I think Bryce Drew would like from his freshman.
Gonna have to rely heavily on him, as well as a couple of transfers. Tough take, and somehow T-Shawn Hightower gets it to go. He's got 8.
These are all straight line drives, though. You've got to remember that Georgia has had such trouble with those spin moves.
Almost a steal by Hightower. Baseline jumper short. Fagan leads it into front court. Hightower lobs it down low to Obede.
Got to work harder, though, to make a great pass.
That shot blocked. Might have been Wetzel. Loose ball scooped up by Evans. Ahead to Toy. Toy, nice move to the bucket, and Vanderbilt ties it up at 28.
Did Toy show his senior maturity there, though? Notice him, even in his Euro step, he kind of slowed down and got under balance.
Crump whips it around, sets up an open 3.
That's a quality look. You can live with that possession.
Evans on a straightaway 3.
Yeah, that's a quick 3.
We're not used to seeing Vanderbilt be less than great from behind the arc. This is a right now, really, Mark, an average three-point shooting team.
I think it's a great point you make, because for years, when you looked at three-point makes, three-point percentage, it was always Vanderbilt at the top.
Death, taxes, and Vandy leading the league in threes. Wetzel going to fire one, and he does knock it down. The 6'10 junior who transferred from St. Mary's.
And he makes just his 5th three-ball in the year.
Inside. Ooh, tough, nifty shot there by Ty Fagan.
Little creative for the freshman.
How about this? Fagan's high school record 80-1. 80-1. He went 1,000 days.
Now that's hard to fathom without losses.
Without losing a game.
Yes.
He had to wait till between the end of his sophomore year in high school and his second game at Georgia. He hadn't lost a game at all. That's a walk. It's a huge part of the offense he employs. But Mark,
it's got to make him cringe, doesn't it?
It's got to drive him crazy, because he just doesn't have great three-point shooters right now. The best one statistically, Tyree Crump, and he has struggled of late.
I was about to say the two teams have combined for 4 for 19 from bonus land. If Pat Bradley were on the floor, that would not be the case.
Not at all. That would be rectified immediately by the shooter. Inside, and that's a walk.
These are just bad decisions. How about the points off turnovers for Vanderbilt, though? Plus 11 in that category.
It's a tough shot. And a rebound pulled in by the Commodores' Cleavon Brown.
But it's another shot not really out of the framework of the offense.
Oh, Chateau swatted away.
Wilridge with those older minutes that I talk about.
3 on the way. Nothing but net for Sargunis, the Lithuanian.
That's his spot. That is his spot, right down there, right by J.J. Frazier.
One of 2 recruits for this Georgia class that Tom Crean brought in late after getting the job here in Athens. Chateau, strong drive. He had it blocked by Claxton. The SEC's shot block leader. Sargunis thought about it. Claxton does it. Tapped
Great
out.
tip out, yep. Great call by you.
Fagan on a baseline drive, steps out of bounds. On the women's side in SEC basketball, the men's side coming off a record 8 NCAA tournament team appearance last year and expected to go deep this year as well. Stop and pop, too strong, and tracked down by Fagan.
Nice job by the freshman Fagan there. Most freshmen don't understand how to run down rebounds. Not a bad look. He shot it in rhythm, even though he's just 2 for 8 on the year.
Chateau all the way, a little bit out of control. Georgia tracks it down.
I didn't mind the play, though, because it was trying to go 2 for 1.
Something you don't often see in the college game.
This is just way too aggressive. 3 fouls back in for this last possession on the offensive end.
Charles, born in the Virgin Islands, son Nicholas played for the U.S. Virgin Islands national team in the summer of 2018. Back iron on the second. 3-point game. 1 second differential game clock to shot clock.
Georgia does have a foul to give. However, college coaches are a little slow to utilize that.
Clock bleeded down to 7 lead. Exploding to the hoop. Draws the foul as he grabs. Lee is 72% free throw shooter. Having Garland, they didn't look at it as, well, now I get to take more shots. They looked at it as, we just lost our leader.
And he talked about the fact that watching Garland play in AAU ball, he oftentimes tweaked his ankle. And so that's all he thought it was when it happened. And then came the bad news.
Bad news for Georgia is that they have been really struggled to hit threes, and that's got to feel huge for Rayshawn Hammonds. That's his first basket in 2 games. The leading scorer for Georgia has been painfully quiet. Ryan on a 3. No, Chateau on a rebound. Chateau finger rolls, a little bit forced right there.
See, that's a play you might get away with at the high school level. There's Claxton out of control.
Claxton Obeyday leading the way for Georgia. Commodores down 4. Strong take by the freshman Neesmith, getting his first start tonight.
But Mike, that drive came out of the framework of the offense. Teams tried to do too much individually.
Hightower sets it up top. Claxton posting up down low. They feed him. Claxton draws a double. And a bump foul on the perimeter by Wetzel.
Once Claxton puts the ball on the deck and goes.
Claxton calling for the ball again. And he's bumped and fouled by Neesmith. So Claxton was first introduced, and all the rule changes, and people were complaining about all the whistles. I think it's been great for the game overall.
It needs to be longer, though. We're not going to clean our game up in 1 season or 2 seasons. I like to see more whistles, not fewer.
Hammonds misfiring. Chateau behind the back pass, and there's the finish by Lee.
How about the extra pass, though? Instead of forcing the issue, find a teammate.
12 points for Saban Lee. Obeyday going to work. Obeyday fires it off the window with that left hand. One of 6 southpaws on the roster for Georgia.
If he's able to come back over that right shoulder so he can utilize that left hand, he's tough to defend.
Neesmith on a contested 3. No, and right place, right time. 5 points for Wetzel, another tie, 39 all. 8 ties, 6 lead changes. Jackson, guarded by Lee. 3 ball left short, off the hand of Hightower. Chateau. Barrel.
That's just an easy call.
And the one knock on Chateau, and again, he'll learn this with time, he just tends to force the action. And like you said, those plays will work in high school, maybe even AAU ball, but not at this level. Jackson on a blow by. Finds Obeyday, and he gets it to go. Chateau blocks the ball and maybe got his hand as well.
Obeyday was doing a little officiating. Feels like he should have had the and-one opportunity. And that's a mistake, leaving him open.
Spins out. Chateau on Claxton, blocked. Tapped around. Obeyday rips it away. Here come the Dogs in transition. And a whistle.
Team officiating, because now he's talking Bryce Drew off the ledge.
For Coach Drew to get teed up.
Maybe this will get Hammond started.
Yeah. Hightower up top.
And this is a tough ask for Matt Ryan.
Hammonds thought about it, then pulls the trigger, and now he's got some confidence.
Watch out.
7 second-half points for Rayshawn Hammonds. Lee. They work it around. Wetzel on a 3. Hightower on the push. Hightower on the crossover. Dumps it down. Obeyday. Obeyday in trouble. And a reach-in foul on
all the time. I think you made that point.
He's not one of the more animated. I don't think he'd even make the top 5 in this league. Scott Drew, the son of Homer, and he's Bryce Drew, the son of Homer and brother of Scott, combined 1,128 wins in the Drew family, third all time for any family. The Ibas #1.
The Vanderbilt zone for the first time.
Do you like the call?
Absolutely. Changed the flow of the game.
Expected them to go in year #1. Last year was kind of a setback, and this year hoping that they can make it back to the big dance despite being without Darius Garland.
Take a look at some of the winningest coaching families. But getting back to the Drews, how cool is it to have a play named after your school?
Knocking them out of the NCAA tournament. But yeah, one of the most famous plays in recent memory in the NCAA tournament. Chateau on a drive. Dumps it down low. Tough shot.
But I like that play by Chateau, though. Instead of forcing it against the shot blockers, find a teammate. This zone is going to stay unless Georgia can do one of two things. Either shoot Vandy out of the zone or rebound them out of the zone.
All right, Georgia has struggled to shoot the three. I'm surprised we don't see more of this. Jackson passed up a three, takes it strong, threw it off of Claxton, who corrals it in the corner. One to shoot. Good if it goes. And Chateau gobbles up another rebound for the Commodores. Bounds to Vandy. 14-21
defense that he talked to us about today.
They might have been a little bit frazzled by the new zone look.
Mismatch.
Chateau takes it all the way. Wow.
That's a size mismatch there. Wilridge just 6'6".
Chateau is just so fluid at that size. 4-point game with 14 minutes to go.
Ball's got to go in the free throw line or the short corner against the 2-3.
There's a deep three on the way. And three that rattles home. He's got 11 and the lead is 7.
I think he's been the X factor in the game for Georgia.
Hightower, who now wears the #1, which used to be worn, of course, for 4 years by one Yonte Mayton. Now back in the G League after enjoying a couple of days with the Miami Heat. Thursday night.
Third foul on Claxton, so that gets him to the bench. Mike, I know we talked about SEC teams, road teams being 5-4. That got me thinking. I went and looked back last night. Only 29% of road teams won across the country.
Points, and he's at the free throw line here.
I wanted to say this earlier. 9 times last year, Hammonds did not score in a game. In 5 of those next 9, he came back with a double-figure game.
Right. Pretty strong.
He's done it again.
A double-figure half. Georgia has its largest lead, 51-41. Where does Vanderbilt turn here? Chateau on the bench as we speak.
Well, who's willing to take and make tough shots?
Toy puts a dent in the backboard. That's not really his game. Vanderbilt 0 for 5 from behind the arc in the second half.
Tell you who else has been quiet tonight is Crump. Kind of a non-factor. Well, I hate those silly handoffs.
Took this job. He said the commitment from the administration at Georgia, and for that matter from the SEC. Look at that move by Hammonds. It's a different player. 12 points in the second half alone.
And he's one of those left-handers that went the opposite way. I think that fooled his defender. That's a great ghost screen that freed up Lee on the drive, and that created that whole.
Very true. Wetzel with a chance at a 3-point play. Nothing but nylon.
But Vandy needed that.
Yes, they did.
Back to the zone.
Hammonds has had the hot hand. He's on the left wing. Gets it here. Fires in stride. And lifted strong. And then a strip down low. Lee scoops it up. Saban Lee. 3 from the corner. Evans knocks it down. A 6-0 run for the Commodores, and it's a 6-point game.
Back-to-back threes in different ways.
Hammonds tie up, and the arrow goes to Vanderbilt.
Through 50, but 1 through 30. 1 through 75 because that defines for everybody when a quadrant 1 opportunity is coming your way.
That's a great point. I mean, polls are kind of irrelevant anyway when it comes to the selection process. Why not have a net poll? Can we get that to become more of a mainstay? Vanderbilt down by 6. Shot clock under 10. Tough shot. Beautiful move by Joe Toye, the senior.
Could win a lot of games of horse with that move.
Watching Joe Toye for 4 years, that might be the best looking move I've seen him make. Crump lines up a 3. He almost got another friendly bounce. 3 from Vandy. It was way short. Ryan shot it in stride, but couldn't get it over the iron. Crump again. That time down.
All successful shooters have great amnesia, and as Crump went back down the floor, guess who he was looking at? J.J. Frazier.
Yes. J.J. Frazier in the house tonight. One of the best point guards in the history of the program. Boy, was he fun.
3-point feast.
Dare I say, we have some flow to this game, Mark Wise. Ryan feeling it again, and this time he does connect. Vanderbilt igniting. It's a 1-point game.
Tom Crean needs a timeout. Amnesia left. Guess what? He went left.
Every time.
Every time.
About a 5'10", a $160 soaking wet, and could dominate games.
Claxton back on the floor for Georgia.
Obeyde harassed in a double team. Claxton up top, inside Obeyde. Hook shot, no. Tapped out. Here come the Commodores on a run out. Evans full throttle. Evans. Control foul. As you mentioned, he's giving ground. You don't have to have your feet planted
to be in legal guarding position.
Exactly.
Correct. Great point.
3 straight away. Got it. And now everybody's getting in on the fun. Turtle Jackson with his first basket.
Just 27% on the year. Shot that one with confidence, though.
Ball screen for Lee. Lee lost it. Coughed it up into the hands of Claxton. Claxton gliding into front court. Sets up Crump. Crump wants it. Fires it. Much needed timeout called by the Commodores. They've only got 1 left.
Be anxious to see if Vandy gets out of the zone now and goes back man to man.
Right. Drive and a foul. Joe now. Download the ESPN app or visit ESPNplus.com.
Do you have any idea how busy my app was in November and December?
Well, that's like stealing. All the things you can get on there. Toye, a senior from Chicago, buries a couple.
Commodores have been impressive in their ability to bounce back all game.
Both teams
still in the zone. Excuse me, Mike.
Both teams in the 1-and-1 now. Just over 8 minutes to go, and a little surprised Vandy sticking in the zone.
I am.
Georgia's been making them pay with those 3-point shots. Tough shot there by Hammonds, kind of forcing the action. It was Hammonds who was their top recruit from a year ago out of Norcross, Georgia. Played alongside the likes of Lant for the previous coaching staff led by Mark Fox.
Huge second frame for Hammonds.
14 points after going 3 consecutive halves scoreless. Lead is back to 7.
This is a 2-man game on one side of the floor. Toye's got to get the ball in there.
Lee up top to Toye. Jab step, now going to let it loose. Rims off. Obeyde rips down another rebound.
Guys at the college level really have a hard time making the 3 with that jab step that you called. Much better in rhythm shooters. Those guys that make the 3 ball with the jab step, they play at the next level.
Wild shot by Claxton, misses everything. Here comes Lee. Lost the handle. Doubled. Lee in trouble. Strong drive. Toy has it rejected by Claxton. Yeah.
I think Schofield and Grant Williams are the best older combination of perimeter player and forward in the country.
I'm with you. Vandy gets a three out of the break. Matt Ryan misfires. We finally have some flow to this game. In the first half, 15 turnovers. In the second half, only 6, and the shooting has been much better as well.
Vanderbilt man-to-man, out of the zone.
Crump, kick out Hammonds. He's been hot. He stays. Rayshon Hammonds with 17 second half points.
Credit Crump, though. He got feet in the paint. Matt Ryan turned his head on Hammonds just enough. That's great execution by Vanderbilt. Got exactly what Bryce Drew wanted. Just didn't make the shot.
And 2 good-looking opportunities from 3, but both wind up short. Vanderbilt down by 10. Under 6 minutes to go. Obede carving out space. Muscles it in there between 2 Vanderbilt defenders.
Smash mouth hoops. Derek Obede. Danger zone for Vandy. And Bryce Drew senses the same.
The month of January for Georgia is as rough and tough a start to conference play as I've ever seen in this league. It is that strong. And you see, I mean, at Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, at LSU, those are NCAA tournament teams by most standards. They've already had at Tennessee.
Tom Crean.
You've got a real serious chance of starting 0 for the month of January. Claxton reels in another rebound. Chateau has calmed down. Vanderbilt has kind of lost its way here in the last few minutes.
Oh, interesting. Vandy back to the zone, so they must not feel like they can guard Georgia right now. But I'm going to get number 20 a look against the zone.
Instead, it's going to be Turtle Jackson, and now he
virus. It's spreading for the Bulldogs.
Largest lead for Georgia, 15 points. And Vandy can't buy one right now.
Trying to be positive. I just go back to the conversation we had with him today about Garland. I mean, you could see him. I used the word sadness. You could see the sadness on his face. So this work in progress, this offensive makeover, it's not going to happen overnight.
Right. Well, most teams, when November rolls around, they're trying to see what they've got and figure out some answers to questions. That man's been in Nicholas Claxton. He's just a different kind of dude.
Yeah, I had their UMass game here, and I asked him, have you ever coached a guy like Claxton? And he was real quick. He said, no, not at that size and length with that skill set.
Now everything going the way of Georgia. Offensive rebound off the missed free throw. A 12-0 run in the last 4 minutes for Tom Crean's squad. Blind pass, Claxton, that time deflected. Loose ball picked up Obede, scooped up by Vandy. Numbers the other way. 3 on the way. Commodores can't buy one all of a sudden. Inside, rejected. And I feel good. The record is, it is what it is. Nobody's expecting Georgia to be a Final Four team by any stretch this year, but you can sense that they are on the way up, and eventually Tom Crean.
Do yourself a favor. Go look at the opening press conference for Tom Crean when he took the job at Georgia. He was supposed to give some opening comments. 37 minutes later, he had everybody excited.
He definitely has an infectious enthusiasm about him. Hammonds doubled, scooped up by Crump. Obede inside, and a flush for the
flush play.
Just how you drew it up, right? Dwayne Wade. I was a Chatou takes it. I was a young radio announcer back then working the Great Alaskan Shootout in '03. And I saw Dwayne Wade, I think it was his second ever game. And you knew right then and there, this kid is going to be something special. And they went on to win the Great Alaskan Shootout, and they went on to go to the Final Four, and Tom Crean certainly has ambitions of getting back there.
Kentucky fans still have not forgiven seeing the Cats in the regional final.
It was a very good Kentucky team that they knocked off, that's for sure. Dwayne Wade, still a big fan of his former collegiate coach. It's just what he was born to do. He loves to coach. I always say he's that kind of guy. Born leader and a born coach. And he has gravitated to the SEC and to the University of Georgia. He says he saw the commitment by people like Dan Leibovitz and Greg Sankey wanting to take
what's going on here, and you mentioned this in the first half, administratively, from the president, the athletic director, feels like everybody's on the same page. I don't know where it is on the bench. I'm not sure he knows.
Well, they extended the coach's box, which is probably a good thing for him, right? Yeah. He needs a little extra real estate.
Don't get me started on that. The reason why we decided the coaches needed to walk further to midcourt, I have no idea.
Pretty soon we're just going to get rid of the box and just let him roam all over the arena.
There's a look at Tom Crean, still defending.
Hammonds with a rebound. He's got a second half that he will remember. Tom Crean. He's not going to do it, but he can relax with 90 seconds left. Up by 19 points.
Tell you who else is up is J.J. Frazier in this building.
It's so much fun to watch him in his 4-year career in Athens. Wilridge on a runner. And another offensive rebound for the Dogs. As Vanderbilt has just run out of steam here in this second half. 16 offensive Bulldog women's coach. Saw him in the tunnel earlier at halftime. Part of our great coverage on the.
Every coach wants to know how your team's going.
For Georgia, we talked about the schedule ahead. They got thumped in Knoxville just a few days ago. This was an entirely different unit today, particularly in the second half. Whatever Coach Crean said at halftime, bottle that up and use it again.
Sweeper.
That is a sweeper. Deep three. Toy on a rebound. And it'll be Vanderbilt basketball.
They didn't play bad in the game against Ole Miss. They picked the wrong time to play bad. And they got behind in that 8-minute to 4-minute segment as you take a look at the Commodores' schedule at Kentucky on the weekend, and played uphill against Ole Miss. Speaking of Ole Miss, how about the job that Kermit Davis is doing with that squad?
Absolutely.
In progress as they continue this offensive makeover for Vandy.
Evans looking for his 10th point of the night. A lot of people will see this score and say, is that the same Georgia team that struggled to get to 50 a few nights ago? They found the secret recipe in the second half today. Hit shots. Rayshawn Hammonds get him going. They both happened in the second half. A 48-point